Reunion. Hello, y'all. I was selling crack on a private jet up in the hell and back. But no confusion, this a reunion. Hello, y'all. Welcome back. Get murder here. He counting money. He said, "Can man, the hell with rap." I'm only here to shit on niggas and piss on bitches. Welcome, ass. I bought jewelry and bikes, nigga. Black Benzes and white figures. Now I'm out here and I'm looking for more chandeliers and light fixtures. Nah. I don't like niggas, what's wrong with me? I'm a hype nigga, but this 44 turn to Michael Jordan. I look and say, take flight.
Welcome back to It Is What It Is. This episode is sponsored by Underdog. The app is the easiest way to make some cash just by making picks on your favorite players. Underdog is available in over 30 states, including Georgia, Missouri, and Texas, just to name a few. Make sure to support the show by hitting the link in the bio and downloading the Underdog app. Use code MACE, CAM, or STAT to get up to $1,000 in bonus funds with your first deposit. I'm Treasure Wilson, aka Stat Baby, along with your hosts Mase and Cam, and today we are joined with our analyst Maurice Clarett.
Mo, what's good, man? Killer, what's going on?
Great week. Yeah, how y'all doing, man?
Yeah.
All is well.
Question, Mase the hat. That's how you're feeling?
Yes. I'm feeling the best team in basketball, man. I'm just happy to be here. That's it. Happy to make my contributions, you know. Haliban, you know.
Okay. Contributions, Haliban. We see it. I don't know how long it's going to last, but we see. Okay, so let's start with this game. So the Pacers win game 111 to 110. Of course, a result a lot of people didn't expect, but in basketball, we know anything can happen. So Mase, how did you feel about how this game 1 went?
They didn't finish my hat, Stat. They didn't finish my Indiana hat. But, you know, I'm happy to be here. I'm happy that Indiana could prove me right. You know, when you come from Titletown, it's just things you know. And I'm happy Cam is here today. I'm happy. Could you put the camera on Cam for a second, you know? Cam, I'm happy. I'm happy he doesn't have the Yankee hat on. So
you know what's crazy, Murder? Is that I'd rather wear a Yankee hat than have random cowboy hats available. What are you doing aside that you got colorful cowboy hats available all the time? What, like you got wild? I think that's kind of crazier than the Yankee hat that you got wild cowboy hats in different colors. Why do you have so many colorful? Cowboys don't even wear cowboy hat. I only know one other profession where you gotta have colorful cowboy hats all the time. Red, tan, yellow cowboy hats. What do you do to have all these different cowboy hats? Because even cowboys don't have a yellow one. Why do you got so many cowboy colorful hats? I was wondering. And then you got them. You got them available. You got mad colorful cowboy hats available. I was just wondering why you got so many. You don't live in Texas or nothing. I'm just trying to figure out.
When I went to the Colorado game, there was a guy. He had this cowboy hat that was from USC, and then when the game was almost finished, he was like, "Man, I'm gonna get you a cowboy hat." He said, "What's your team?" I said, "All of them are my team." So he made cowboy hats in all colors.
Oh, okay.
Then we were supposed to go see LSU and different teams. So I wanted to make sure, you know, when I walk on a team for spring training, I have a cowboy hat that matched their team. So it was the collectors, you know. So when I go to LSU, they'll sign it. And we'll give it to somebody here on It Is What It Is. And when we go to Ohio State, I wear the red when all the players sign it. And we'll give it to someone here on It Is What It Is.
Nah, it's dope. So a nigga see you and say, you need every flavor cowboy hat. That's what they felt when they seen you? That's what the nigga is feeling? Nah, you would look good in every flavor. What's your number? Let me stay in contact with you so I'll make sure you got every kind of cowboy hat you need. All right, I got it. My bad. I ain't mean to interrupt the tape.
Yeah.
At the Haliban. You was at the Haliban. My bad.
Yeah, the Haliban. This was a great game. I'm telling you from the beginning. It looked like it was going to be a blowout. It looked like that, this was going to be a series that OKC was just going to run away with. And I'm really happy that they were able to stay resilient and to stay around. I mean, OKC did everything they were supposed to do until the fourth quarter. They was up 15 points. Shea was playing phenomenal. Even a big man Harts, he was doing his thing. And everybody pretty much, they was calling everything for OKC. It seemed like every touch foul went in OKC, way. But when it came down to the end, it just came down to the Haliban, man. I think it's time to say that he's not the most overrated player in the game. Siakam contribute, and another player that I was really excited to see in this game, and that was Nembhard, or how do you say his name?
Yeah, it's Nembhard.
Yeah, he actually did a move one time, try to boogie, hit the three. I was like, oh, this is how they're going to win the series if they were to win it. So I was just happy to see them pull out the game, especially at the end with that clutch performance by Haliburton.
Okay, Maurice?
This is the same thing. I'll probably echo what he says. I'm me like everybody else. I thought OKC would have came out and handled business. It seemed like they were handling business the vast majority of the game. But in that fourth quarter, I thought to myself, like when I was jogging on the treadmill and I was looking at the game, and I was saying, "There's no way, with about 3 minutes, that they're about to basically pull this off." Pause and I think they went on like a 10-2 run heading into the last minutes of the game. And I was asking myself, man, will OKC struggle from having a long rest? I asked myself, does Haliburton and Indiana get off pause from being the underdog, and they hear the whole world and all of the gambling odds are against them? And for whatever reason, either the youth from OKC couldn't close the door on these guys, even after all the turnovers and the game going their way, or was the combination of both things? I don't know, but I was surprised, probably like the rest of the world, with watching Indiana pull off that last second shot with Tyrese Haliburton.
Look, man, I know the other day I said I ain't ready to call the nigga the Haliban because y'all was relating the nigga to terroristic shit. No pun intended towards America. But he might be the Haliban, man. The nigga keeps killing niggas round after round after round after round. Look, the first round killed Milwaukee with the shit. Second round, Cleveland. We see what he did to the Knicks when he imitated Reggie Miller with the choke shit. Then he did it to Shea Gilgeous last night. I got to stop. I ain't going to front. I said I fuck with Haliburton. I said he definitely should be on the verge of being a superstar, but this nigga's a killer. He didn't even have the best game last night, but he's up for the moment. A lot of people, you can have somebody, I remember years ago when they used to say LeBron don't want the ball in the end. He don't want to shoot foul shots in the end. This is not early LeBron, 6th, 7th season, something like that, 8th season, saying he's running from the moment. And I'm not saying that was true. I'm just saying what people used to say about LeBron. This kid is ready for the moment. It isn't like he had 40. It ain't like he had 20. The kid is ready for the moment. You got 35. Let's put this into perspective, right? Shea Gilgeous had 36, 38 points, something like that. And he could have not necessarily sealed the deal, but he could have put them up 3 points. He has the ball with 20 seconds left, misses the shot, this is the MVP. This is the league's leading scorer. He misses the shot, and you give Haliburton an opportunity with 9 seconds left, and he dagged niggas. Pause. I got to give the niggas some credit. Now, back to Indiana, though. They are a well-rounded team. I was saying given how much props out, nobody could rattle Shea, and nobody could bother Shea. He doesn't necessarily get rattled. But Nembhard seemed to push some buttons yesterday, man. It was a situation where it was a foul, and Shea pushed Nembhard, and Nembhard came push him out. I was like, oh, Shea is right. Somebody got Shea mad. I haven't seen anybody ever get Shea upset. And after that, Nembhard kind of got into his bag. That fourth quarter, to me, basically goes to Miles Turner, Nembhard, especially on the defensive end, and Nesmith. Those are the guys that kept Indiana in this game. And then Haliburton came and sniped niggas at the end. But Indiana is such a well-rounded team, and not just a well-rounded team, a well-coached team. This is a game. This if what's that shot niggas be saying? If it was a person, if 48 minutes in the game was a person or a team, it would be the Indiana Pacers because they didn't lead in this game until 0.3 seconds left was on the clock. They didn't lead the whole game until Haliburton. Pardon me, got me calling nigga Haliburton. The Haliburton hit that shot, man. So this is the 5th time in this postseason that the Indiana Pacers have came back from 15 points down and won a game. 5th time this season. This is a team that believes that the game isn't over till the clock says 0. 15 points 5 different times in one postseason is amazing. Since 1997, Haliburton has tied Reggie Miller. He's 3 behind LeBron James for the most go-ahead or tie-in points with less than 5 seconds left. 4 of them came this season. 4 times this season with under 5 seconds left, he either tied the game or had the go-ahead winning shot. And now he tied Reggie Miller, and he's only behind LeBron. Listen, man, this was tremendous for Indiana. Another thing that happened with OKC, now let's move on to OKC. OKC played a really good game. Indiana came out jumpy. It's kind of like with the New York Knicks series, that first game, it took some time for them to wind down. And then they finally wound down in the last few minutes. I kept saying to myself, I'm like, yo, they not putting these niggas away because as we've seen in the playoffs, 20-point leads aren't safe, let alone a 15-point lead. If you're not down 30 in the 4th quarter, I don't see any lead being safe, especially this postseason. And I kept saying, yo, they not putting these niggas away. Okay, they down 11. Okay, cool, it's back up to 13. Now they down 7. Okay, balloon back up to 9. Yo, they down 4. Okay, balloon is, oh, wait a minute, they down 3. They stayed in the game throughout the whole game to where they couldn't really put them away. Now, OKC, they didn't capitalize on a lot of things that they usually capitalize on. Indiana had 20 turnovers in the first half. 20 turnovers in the first half is crazy. I think they finished with 30, I can't remember, 34, 36. It was a wild amount of turnovers, 31, something like that. But off of all these turnovers, OKC only scored 11 points off of turnovers. OKC defense is tremendous, of course, but they usually convert points after the turnovers, and last night they didn't do that. 11 points off of over 30. How many you got the turnovers?
25.
25, pardon me. 25 turnovers. So that means they have 5 turnovers in the second half, pardon me, everybody. But 11 points off of 25 turnovers, that's not going to cut it. Secondly, a key component that we talked about leading up to this playoff series was J. Will and Chet. Chet cannot have these type of games if you expect to win. Now, we all know this was a buzzer beater, and everybody would be, not necessarily a buzzer beater, 0.3 left on the clock, but everybody be saying, oh, OKC is good, don't worry about this, that, and third. But this is why it's 48 minutes, and this is why you need your superstars, or not superstars, the other stars, according to your roster, to show up. You can't have 6 points if you Chet in this championship round. It's not going to work. Jay Will played decent. I'm not mad at his play. But everybody has to step up to the occasion. Yeah. Everybody needs to realize you are 4 wins from losing a championship. And you're 4 wins from winning one. Now Indiana's 3 wins. They took home court advantage from you where OKC been great throughout the playoffs, not just the playoffs, the regular season at home. And now what this reminds me of moving forward with this series is, if y'all think this is going to be a run, it ain't. It's one of them situations where like, yeah, OKC going to sweep the niggas. OKC in 5, it won't go past 6. Indiana like, nah. This kind of reminds me leading into the next game when we seen Roach fight Tank. And we like, yo, Tank ain't finishing this nigga. I mean, this nigga might be winning the fight now that I think about it, now that I'm looking at it. He might then around 9, you like, nah, this nigga, I think the nigga winning. This is what this seems like. This seems like round 7 or round 8 of that fight, because now when you come out, if you would have beat them by 10, 15 points, if you're OKC, you would have been like, yeah, we knew these niggas wasn't like that. Now niggas came out and shocked you, and they don't give a fuck about you, and this is what Indiana's been doing throughout this playoff series. Not only that, the coaching experience from Rick Carlisle is tremendous. For him not to call a timeout with that 8-9 seconds left just goes to show that he trusts the team and he definitely trusts the ball in Haliburton's hands. Another coach would have called a timeout and set up a play, which gives the defense time to set up as well. But for him not to call a timeout, he knows, he trusts his player, he trusts Haliburton definitely with the ball at the end of the game. And I can't give enough props to the Indiana Pacers for how they finished that game strong and not giving up and waiting for the clock to hit 000.
Yeah. So great points. And back to your point about the turnover. So yeah, they had 25 total turnovers for the game, 19 in the first half. And they actually tied a franchise record for most turnovers in any quarter of a playoff game with 9. So based off of what we've seen, people can argue this is actually one of the Pacers' worst games. But does this game 1 kind of change how you feel about the whole series? And Mase, gonna let you go first.
Yeah, definitely. I always thought that OKC would be like the stronger team to jump out, so that's why I gave them the benefit to win the series. But this is the Indiana team we saw in Cleveland. You know, the resilience, not the fourth quarters of play. Because when they first came out, you know, they looked really, really like they were out of place, like almost like they were playing a beat behind, or at least 2 beats behind the OKC team. It just seemed like they wasn't taking it serious. I'm like, they got to get their energy together. It seemed like OKC is running at a different speed than they were. And then as the game went on, it just changed. So when that type of thing happened, it does change the series, because if I play my absolute worst and I beat you, my confidence goes to another level. I think every person on that team, confidence is now higher, because we're not going to play worse than this. And they were actually playing great, and we still were able to beat them. And I think that changes the tide a little bit. Now we're looking at a 6-game series at least at this point. I think we're looking at a 6-game, 7-game series where it changes. Now it's looking favorable for Indiana.
Okay. And then Maurice, does this game 1 kind of change how you feel about how the series is going to go?
Yeah, it definitely changes it. I didn't think that Indiana had a chance, just like probably everybody else. I thought the defense for OKC was going to be too much. I thought that this would be Shea's moment. He would basically cap off his MVP season and start off game 1 down to OKC with a theatrical performance. But, you know, just like what May said, you know, when you play that bad, you still stay in the game. And then on the road, I think, which is the biggest thing, and Cam made a bunch of good points. I wanted to interject, but it was just a bunch of good points being made in the road. When you do this on the road, when you have your superstar in Tyrese Haliburton have the ball in his hands and he goes out and he closes out the game, the confidence and the momentum has shifted. And I would say this just from being around a bunch of championship teams. Man, once you get confidence, it's a momentum, or being able to play the right way at the right time, and you're just playing this great basketball in a vacuum. I don't know if you can quantify that. You know, I don't even know how you measure that versus who you're playing. So it definitely changes my attitude. I think Indiana goes home and say, man, we can go beat these dudes 3 more times. And I think just what Mace said, hey, you know, we played bad and we still beat them. So if we go ahead and shore up what we have going on, we can go ahead and win a championship. But it definitely changes me, changes my position.
Yo, Larry, what's the odds for Vegas with the championship after this game? What was it before this game?
So the OKC opened up as a 7-1 favorite against Indiana. So now, and then also tonight, I mean the next game, they opened up the first game. They opened up 9.5-point favorites, and they lose this game, obviously, right? But the second game is the trap game, and I just looked up OKC is -11, so they're not giving Indiana any respect at all.
So Vegas niggas definitely don't give Indiana no props. So Indiana's still a 360 favorite when there's a 700 favorite. They gotta stop just sleeping on the Pacers, man. That's just that. We'll see. I can't determine what's going to happen, especially after you take home court advantage. We see how that changed that series, because the Knicks were favored to beat Indiana. And that first game, to me, really changed the tide of that series. Not just the first game, they came and won the second game as well in New York City. So if Indiana goes into OKC and leaves 2-0, I think it's their series. It's really about how OKC responds next game. If they come out and bust Indiana ass, one of them 20-point, 25-point victories, I think it's still in their favor. But even if OKC comes out and only wins by 1 and 2, 3 points, less than 5 points, I think it's Indiana's favor because Indiana be like, yeah, these niggas ain't like y'all niggas think they are. That's my opinion. I think everything is based upon next game before I can give a final decision. Depends on how OKC looks after next game, because some of these games, those one of them games where it changes the tide, especially how, like I talked about how we don't see Shea rattle. That nigga Shea walked off the court pissed last night. That nigga don't be mad. He don't be getting upset. This is the first time I seen this nigga upset. I ain't gonna use the word rattle, upset. He still got his numbers, but something's going on. Something's going on in Indiana, and we about to find out. I can't wait for the next game.
Yeah, Nimhart knows him. They played together in Canada. So you know how you get against somebody, you know this nigga. Like, he could do that on other people. He won't do that on me. And pause. It looked like when he switched on to Shea, it changed the game because he was actually able to stay in front of him even better than a much taller Neesmith. You know, Neesmith was having trouble with Haliburton, and then when he got not Haliburton, with Shea, and then when they switched, it was just like he could guard him. So I think that was, you know, an old school rivalry that they got going on.
Yeah,
and that's the Lamont Roach and Tank Davis. But I was about to ask both of y'all a question: Is this at the point of the season, or is this a time where their youth catches up with them? You know, we've always talked about how, you know, the youth plays a favor, and we start this dynasty, and, you know, OKC is this young team who can be the next Golden State Warriors. But did that go through either of y'all mind about their age and their inexperience, like playing against them right now and not knowing how to close out games?
I think not really, because both of these teams are very young, you know. I think even when you look at Indiana, this is a young team. Both of them are young in that capacity. So this, to me, is a changing of the guards. Whoever win this is now that new champion that we have not seen in the NBA. Whether it's OKC or whether it's the Indiana Pacers, it's been an extremely long time since we've seen that Seattle team win a championship, even though it's OKC now.
What I would say is I don't think that it's youth, because it isn't like Indiana's old either. They got some experienced players. But it's dope because both of these teams and both of the stars on the team, when we're talking about Tyrese Haliburton and then we're talking about SGA, both these players were in the, not SGA. Haliburton was in the Eastern Conference Finals last year. SGA been getting bumped second round, but he just made his mark in the Western Conference Final. So it isn't like they have a lack of playoff experience. They both have playoff experience. Neither one of them have championship experience. You know, we could say that with Siakam and Carlisle, but if we're talking about Haliburton and Shea, neither one of them have championship experience. So it's about who's about to step up to the plate and who wants it more. Now, the supporting cast means a lot. It means a lot. Like I said, Haliburton came and finished niggas off, pause. But he didn't drop the body. The team did. He came and hit him with a headshot. Boom. Soon it was over. You know how nigga ain't dead? Niggas say, yo, finish that nigga, pause. Killed him. That's what he did. But it was by committee in the fourth quarter. You got Miles Turner, you got Nimhart, you got Neesmith. All these people contributed, not just throughout the game, especially in the fourth quarter. So I don't think it's about the lack of inexperience for OKC, because it isn't like Indiana has the experience either. Coach-wise and player-wise, yeah. But as a unit, no.
Right. Okay. So last question regarding the game, because we said the supporting cast does matter, in which it does. So looking at OKC side, who needs to step it up? And Cam, you did speak on Chet, but I kind of want you, one, to reiterate that, and two, you guys to give your answers on who you think needs to step it up on OKC side if they want to kind of change the trajectory of the game. Maurice first.
I don't say if it's anybody that in particular needs to step up because they were doing the right things. It's just the conversions of the turnovers. When you have that many turnovers and you don't convert to widen the victory or to widen the margin in which you winning by, that's a team thing. And I just remember, they were scrambling everywhere and mass turnovers were happening, but just the conversions of the turnovers, right? If you go ahead and I don't know if you said it was 30-odd turnovers, but even if you make 70% of those buckets, the margin of your victory will be over. And so I would say it's everybody, and it's just converting on just the bad balls. Pause, but it's just a team effort. But it's taking advantage of the team. It's taking advantage of them when you have the ability to take advantage of them. Pause.
Okay, Mase.
Yeah, I would definitely say the entire team could play better when it comes to the tenacity, like he said, of getting rid of a team. Like when you have a team on the ropes, there's no way I'm up 15 and you're beating me. You never beat me. We up 15. We're trying to get it to 37. We're trying to get all the people that never play on the court so they can get their buckets. We want to see people who never got a basket get a dunk. You got to run teams out of the gym, especially because this is a game they should have won. So the whole team got to play with that killer instinct. They were doing all the right things, but in the fourth quarter, they kind of just went away. It kind of just got lost the whole fourth quarter because something was happening that they wasn't just taking it serious enough.
And the exact question, Stat?
Yeah, who kind of needs to step it up? And they're kind of saying the team in particular, but on OKC side for them to kind of change the trajectory.
The thing, like I said, Chet didn't have the best game, and he's going to second or third option on the team. But, see, the thing about it is this. We're saying who needs to step it up. Yo, these niggas is literally 2 seconds from winning this game. So, therefore, we wouldn't even be having these conversations, even though woulda, coulda, shoulda. I get that.
Right.
But just if Tyrese Haliburton missed this shot, we would have been asking, well, who needs to step it up on Indiana? Who needs to do this? If we're going to point somebody out, I'm going to point Chet out for not stepping up in the moment. Mm-hmm. But we're not going to sit and act like Indiana killed OKC. They won with less than a second left. But it's so all the zeros on the clock. But if I have to single one person out for OKC, I'm going to go with Chet. But to me, it's not about one player. It's about them not capitalizing off the turnovers that they got. We all know that Oklahoma City Thunder defense is number one throughout the regular season. They've been looking tenacious as well as the playoffs is concerned. But they usually convert that into points. So I'll blame Chet if we're going to single out one person, but I think it's more about the team collectively not making points, not turning turnovers into points, and I think that was the real difference.
Okay, great analysis, guys. And as we know, it's only game one. Game two is on Sunday. So Underdog has Haliburton at 16.5 points. Do you have him higher or lower, Mase?
Higher. I got him higher. It's Haliban time.
16?
Yeah.
Yeah, he only had 14 last game, so I'm going to definitely think he's one of them. That's why I say he's streaky. He's a player that have 12 that have 30. Being that he didn't even have 15 points, I think he'll have more than that next game.
Okay, Siakam is at 29.5 points, rebounds, and assists. Do you have him higher or lower, Cam?
I'm going to go lower.
Mase?
How many against that?
29.5 points, rebounds, and assists.
Lower.
Okay, and Chet is at 8.5 rebounds. Do you have him higher or lower, Mase?
I'm going to go higher. I think because of this performance of last night, when he gets another opportunity, he's going to make sure he show up.
Okay.
Yeah, I agree with that take. I'm going to go high.
Okay. Make sure y'all download the Underdog app and you can make your picks too. So moving along, Michael Beasley and Lance Stevenson are facing off in a one-on-one basketball game today for $100,000 as part of the Next Chapter YouTube series. They had a little interview, a lot of crazy sound bites. I'm not even going to read it all. I'm going to actually play it now.
I'm going to do it to you real nice and slow. You understand? I'm going to do it to you sexy. I'm gonna make them people love you tonight, you understand? For real. I'm gonna make you love you. Ready. I'm gonna have you shaking ass, nigga. I'm gonna make you dance, Lance.
Yeah, I ain't gonna do that.
I'm gonna make you dance, Lance. We gonna get straight to it, nigga. I'm gonna bring my dancing shoes and I'm gonna tap all over that court. You understand?
Nobody in the world ever do that.
Hello, everybody. Nobody at your service.
See, he said, I'm going to make you dance, Lance. There's a lot to unpack here. So, one, Maurice, how are you feeling about this matchup? And two, what are you thinking about what he said?
Yeah, that nigga tripping, yo. Yeah, nah. So it's widely known that everybody say Michael Beasley is real good. He's a real good one-on-one player. I've watched plenty of interviews where people, they said that he's a great one-on-one player. And I just like, they both coyotes. Everybody know Lance is a coyote, Michael Beasley a coyote. They said if he wasn't so wild, the nigga would still probably be, playing ball in the NBA. So I'm actually interested in this. So when I see him joking, I was like, this is going to be like some yard ball shit, like DYS youth service, like straight prison shit. So I'm all for it. I'm all for the theatrics. I'm all for the crazy interviews, but just them two coyotes playing basketball together, like I think it's gonna make for an interesting game and good commentary and shit talking and all that stuff that niggas be want to see.
Yeah, this is going to be a wonderful game to see. I think when it comes to Lance Stevenson, it was just funny to watch somebody out-talk Lance. I didn't see Lance say anything. Normally, Lance is blowing paws in niggas' ears and all that, really irritating somebody else. And this was the first time I seen somebody say something to Lance that was wild. He looked very uncomfortable when he told me he gonna have him shaking. Yo, Lance, you gotta do something about that. You better not lose, Lance, with what he said. And I just want to see this game. I hope it's no free throws. I hope it's like real, park basketball. Like when you check the ball up, niggas be fouling each other for 2 hours and all of that. I wish they take the free throws out and made the best man win. This is going to be a goodie.
Yeah, listen, whoever put that video together killed it because, I'm in production and everything. They put the music in the background. The music made it more menacing. When you hear that music in the background, what Beasley is saying, it looks way more menacing. Secondly, I want to give Beasley a lot of credit because it's like a boxing fight. You got to sell the fight. You got to sell this game. I've been hearing about this game for a while. I didn't know it was actually going to be today. But if you want people to watch, that's the shit that you got to say. Not necessarily I'm going to have you shaking ass, but I'm saying you got to give people attention to want to watch the game. You know what I'm saying? And I'm saying, yo, this nigga knows how to promote. You know what I'm saying? Because now you like, yo, I see niggas like, yo, the game might be off after that shit he just said, my nigga, because it don't sound like he want to play basketball. It sound like he want to do something else. So, but I get the marketing from it. I get we got to sell tickets, nigga. But choice of words, I'm going to have you shaking ass. I'm going to make you dance. That was giving me Preacher vibes. I don't know if y'all know who Preacher is from Harlem or the Bronx, but that's the vibes he was giving me, man. Also, the last thing I'll say is this actually could get Michael Beasley in movies. He could be a villain behind that. He had the facial expressions, the music was right, he leaned in, paused, and seemed like he meant what he was saying. I say, if he's not acting, I don't know if he really was acting or not, but this nigga really looked like a villain in somebody's music, and that music helped out. I thought that was genius on his part. The choice of word selection would have been a little bit different, but I understand it. And now I'm looking forward to the game.
I think he like that in real life.
Yeah, he kind of made Lance Stevenson kind of like second guess himself. If he was thinking about backing him down, he backed the nigga down after he really just took a few moves away from Lance with that. And he backing the nigga down, I just told you that.
Yeah.
Yeah, look at you shaking.
Yeah, I thought it was great. There's not really much that you can even respond to that, which is why, we'll see what happens in their game later today. Should be interesting to see. But y'all, so the Steelers have found their quarterback. We will discuss after the break.
She called this thing about toxic. 4 years and counting. Got you feeling like an option. Maybe I'm my own problem, babe. She tired of hearing I don't know. My stubborn in me won't fall. Dealing with this thing called trust. But she really thinking about it. She wanna be free.
Welcome back. So we're switching gears to football. So Aaron Rodgers is signing a 1-year deal with the Steelers ahead of minicamp and pending the completion of a physical. Maurice, do you think Aaron Rodgers is a good fit for the organization?
No. I do not think Aaron Rodgers is a good fit for the Pittsburgh Steelers. I got my dude, Will Howard, over there, who was the quarterback from last year from Ohio State. And I was hoping Aaron Rodgers didn't land with the Steelers because I knew if he did land with the Steelers, that he would be their starter for the year and would basically delay my guy Will Howard's chance of getting on the field. So that's just a personal Ohio gripe. But I don't know. I wish Aaron Rodgers the best of luck. Mike Tomlin, I told everybody who doesn't know, I always got love for the Pittsburgh Steelers and Mike Tomlin for writing me when I was in prison. So I wish Mike Tomlin well, and I wish the Pittsburgh Steelers well. But I wish that Aaron Rodgers would have stayed where he stayed and allowed my man Will Howard to get some reps and become the starting quarterback for the Steelers.
Well, Mo, I actually disagree. I like Aaron Rodgers with the Steelers. I want to hear what Stat got to say. This is her team. But Stat, I like Aaron Rodgers there. I think he won't be able to get over these shenanigans with Tomlin. So it'll actually be a good fit. He actually can throw the ball. He can get the ball down the field probably better than Russell Wilson was. So what do you think about that, Stat?
I mean, I feel like you like it considering you're not a Steelers fan. Like, you're not really rooting for this to begin with. So your perception is going to be different from the one that I have. But I'm going to let Cam go first, and then I'll give my
You could go.
final.
I don't really care.
Cool. Okay. I'm not happy with it at all. I have been tweeting about it all day. Yes, Aaron Rodgers is a decorated quarterback. He is one of the best. Do I think he's the best for our team? No. I think trying a new system, we're seeing him getting older. We've already seen the attitude problems that he had with his prior team. He's technically injury prone. We don't know if he's going to be healthy per se most of the season. I'm hoping that he has a healthy season because if he's healthy and playing great, then I'm happy. I don't know if that's what we can expect. We still don't even have a really good quarterback room. Like, yeah, shout out to Ohio and Maurice for wanting Will to do great. And obviously I want him to do great as well. But it is first year in the league. We know how those difficulties can kind of look. And then we got back with Mason Rudolph. Don't understand why we did that. I just think it doesn't fully fix our quarterback situation. I feel like we kind of end up right back in the same boat. Of course, I want to be positive and think positively. And I hope he proves me wrong because, every time I tend to say something bad about somebody, they want to have a great game. So maybe it will be a Russell Wilson type of situation. I talk some shit and then he plays well. Who knows? But I don't like it. I don't think it's going to work. I'm still mad about us getting rid of George Pickens. Yes, we picked up DK Metcalf. I don't know how they're going to mesh well together, so I'm feeling some type of way. And that's that.
Yeah. I'm just really, to be honest with you, I'm really just waiting for the first sideline argument for Mike Tomlin and Aaron Rodgers. Because Aaron Rodgers likes to bully the sideline, and I don't think you can bully Mike Tomlin. I think that's really what's been his hold up with signing with the Steelers, saying, yo, where can I go? What team would take me that I can just say and do what the fuck I want to do? Come in a little late, get there. And I'm not gonna ever accuse Aaron Rodgers of that because we never seen him out of shape. We never seen him short the game. He hasn't been looking his best last season, especially. He hurt the year before that. Decent season. We haven't seen the best from him probably 4 years. MVP about 4 or 5 years ago. Not even that long, but we still know he has some game left, but he likes to control the environment. And I think that was really the delay in him signing with the Pittsburgh Steelers. You know, if you go there, you cannot control that environment. So I'm looking forward to seeing him and Mike Tomlin bump heads. Now, if they win, I think everything will be honky-dory. Let that shit start getting crazy. Let them start off with a 2-6 record. Them cameras going to be on the sidelines every 5 minutes waiting for them two niggas to bump heads. So that's what I'm looking forward to. If they win, I don't think we'll see it. But we know what's going on. You know, and not only that, you got to think about this. Another reason I think he delayed. I'm not saying he's running from anybody because Aaron Rodgers is arguably, depending on what's your cup of tea, one of the greatest quarterbacks ever. But you know who in the division, nigga. You know you got to deal with Joe Cool. You know you got to deal with Lamar Jackson. We don't know what's going to happen with the Browns or whatever, but you're in a tough division. So now we're getting Aaron Rodgers against Joe Burrows twice a year. We're getting Aaron Rodgers against Lamar Jackson twice a year. And we'll see what happens with the Browns and whatever other AFC games that they have. But I'm looking forward to it.
And then real quick before we move on, just to make matters even better, of course, week 1, the Steelers will be playing the Jets. You know we got rid of Justin Fields, and he is now the Jets quarterback. So I love it. You know, we love it. It is a storyline. I do think that the Steelers, I'm hoping, would win that game, but at this point.
Yeah, if Justin Fields come back and bust the Steelers' ass, that's probably
crazy.
He probably could not wait for that game. I know if I was him, I couldn't wait. I wouldn't be super excited for that game.
Yeah. And then Maurice first, and then Mase, what do y'all think about the Steelers playing the Jets week 1?
I'm really excited about this whole situation, like Killer said. I want to see where the argument go. It will be really interesting to hear how he will respond, Aaron Rodgers, if Mike Tomlin was to call him boy.
I'm not looking forward to any of it. It's not fun when it's your team, but who knows? You know, football season stresses me out every year. Just another reason to be stressed when being attached to a team.
The crazy shit is that Steelers fans are like, I don't know if they might be. They up there though. I ain't gonna put them up there with Knicks and Cowboy fans, but they mad delusional, man. Like they say something that they don't want and don't like and don't want to see happen, and then when the shit that doesn't happen, the shit that happens that they don't want to happen, they be like, man, we gonna kill them. Don't even worry about it. If you didn't want to happen, I'll get more to the point what I'm talking about. I remember Papa Stat saying he didn't want Aaron Rodgers or he wasn't excited about it. And he texted me today and said they won in the Super Bowl.
Oh, please.
And said that we gonna win with the old man. Watch, we going to the Super Bowl. This is the 3rd year that I've been hearing him telling me the crazy shit. You know, I love you, my nigga. I love you. Tell me I call him Joe. Love you, Joe. But you wildin', bro. The delusion is crazy, man. It's crazy. You just said you didn't want him. 3 months later, now y'all gonna win the Super Bowl with him. Y'all are a tier under Nick. It's Cowboy fans, Knick fans, and now Steeler fans with delusion.
You know it is though. My dad, he's a loyal human. He texted me about time. So at this point, don't stick beside him, and I'm gonna do the same.
Yeah, I don't know about time. I guess about time for Aaron Rodgers.
Finally, yeah.
Yeah, well, see, that's the thing, and see, that's the problem with what Stat just said. Seriously, because people confuse loyalty and delusion. It's 2 different teams, 2 different things. I'm loyal to the Spurs. I am a Spurs fan. Do I think we're going to win next year? No, I don't, but that don't mean that I'm not loyal to my team. People think that they're loyal and they got to say crazy shit because they're loyal. I'm not talking about Papa Sam. I'm just saying fandom. Because that's your team, that doesn't mean don't look at reality. No, you're not winning the Super Bowl, yo. The Spurs are not winning it. Fans, y'all did not go to the champions. They still think away. The Knicks fans still, yo, you know if niggas would have hit this shot. Niggas still calling me. Do you know it's over this year, Knicks fans? Could you stop calling and telling me what coulda, shoulda been in order? It's over. NY next year, this is what we've been telling you for 50 years. It's over. Delusion and loyalty, two different things.
By the way, shout out my dad, but
Yeah,
I get it because we think the same. So shoot, if it's delusion and loyalty,
You
different
don't think
things,
the same
I
stat.
guess
You
I'm
just
delusional
said
and loyal.
that you don't like it.
I don't like it, but I'm
he
still
said-
loyal.
He said he like it.
That's where we disagree, but
That's
we gonna
what I'm
stick
saying.
beside him. We gonna stick beside him. That's what we do.
You do the same thing with Russell Wilson last year.
You do the same thing, changing up teams every day.
Every 5 minutes.
Thank you.
The nigga said the OKC Thunder was going to win this series, and now you got on a yellow cowboy.
Talk about Haliban.
Yeah,
Haliban.
see, that's what I told you, Stat, what he was going to do. I said he going to pick OKC, but he going to say, my heart's with Indiana. Go ahead, Murdoch. Go ahead. Say what you going to say. My bad.
Damn, I'm the president of Titletown.
Okay.
I move, you know? I move around.
Okay.
Okay, moving along to Derek Carr. So he spoke on his decision to retire from the Saints and walk away from a paycheck. He said, that part was tough because I didn't want to have surgery and just sit there, and it sounds crazy, but just take the Saints money. Maurice, what's your thoughts on that logic from Derek Carr? And if you were in his shoes, would you have taken up the roster spot and take the money, or did what he did and retire?
Yeah, I said this nigga's crazy. I ain't lying. If I'd played football my whole life, and as much as these leagues abuse you, they take advantage of you and all this other shit, I would have had to sit on the bench for $30 million. And I'd have been going to the training room, getting all my ice, my hamstring worked on, my shoulder, all of that. But I ain't walking away for $30 million. Because I always say this, man, guys think when they leave these leagues where they pay you all this money that they can just come into the real world and just make the same amounts of money. Or they have this belief that, like, I got money, so I'm good. You can never have enough money. And so I would have just went on ahead and I would have been in the training room and collected my check, and then they would have had to push me out the league. And that's my take on that.
That was a good point. I think the same way with rappers or entertainers as well. If he was going to get $30 million and just free massages for the rest of the year, that's a great job. You're getting paid to get massages. You're not actually getting out there on the field. They know you're hurt. They know you're going to be rehabbing. So that season will be over before you collect most of that money. So I think it was a good fit for him. If he had, what else he going to do with his year?
Sit at home for free?
Literally.
Yeah, I agree with Mo. I would have got that $30 million. And you made that was a great point, Mo. The way the league abuses players, kick them out, not kick them in the ass out the door, but they don't give a fuck about you when your time is up. It is what it is. But what this tells me, my personal opinion, is Derek
Carr.
Derek Carr is two things. He got some guilty conscience shit that he won't feel good about taking the money and not doing the work, which I don't understand. I would never have a guilty conscience. Or he's financially secure to where he doesn't have to do this. What he will get is this, just for you guys' knowledge and everybody's listening. He gets a $10 million signing bonus, so he's going to get $10 million of that. And he's eligible for his pension. So he's not walking away completely with nothing. $10 million in your pension. Of course, you get the pension even if he took the 30. But I don't know, maybe some guilty conscience shit, that white people have that black people don't have. So I would took the bread.
What I really said, what I really was thinking, I was like, this some white shit.
Yeah.
Niggas ain't doing this, yo.
I mean, he could have took the money and gave it to the St. Jude's Foundation or something, you know? He could have given it to a lot of people.
Yeah, he definitely could have given away. And just for a little bit more context, so he retired with roughly $195.7 million in career earnings. So in addition to the $10 million roster bonus, he gave up a $30 million salary he was set to earn for this season. So I don't know. I don't have that guilty conscience in me either. I would have sat on the roster and took that. I would have took that bread in that situation. But again, shout out to Derek Carr. You know, that's his morals. That's what he wants to do. If that makes him feel great, that's all that matters. That's how I'm gonna end that. So that is all the time that we have for today. Maurice, you know it's always a pleasure to have you on the show.
Mo, good seeing you, bro.
Likewise.
Thank y'all for watching, and as always, it is what it is.
What you want, nigga? Everything, nigga, super size. Two Big Macs, like when they doing them 2 for $5.